I'm going all in, put it all on the line, cause I know that I'ma win. No energy that can move me, I feel like I'm in a movie. My God, they try to imitate me, but can nobody else do me? People, they know when they see me, they better believe me. I'm going all in when I'm logged in, can't nobody defeat me. I got nothing to lose, yeah. 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 I'm going all in, put it all on the line, cause I know that I'ma win. I'm going all in,
day this week, the margins are finer still. This is Watkins Glen here in upstate New York. It is the halfway stage of the championship, round number 3 of 6 in what is some incredible racing action with the Skip Barber Racing School Formula iRacing Series. I'm Jake Sperry, Peter Mackay along with me for the ride. And what a track to come to. What a track to bring some amazing racing forward. And Peter, for the first time I think this season, I can say this with honest sincerity, this is anyone's race.
That's right, we're expecting a real tactical showdown here at Watkins Glen. Lots of opportunity for slipstream, big wide areas of the track as well, so we might see some 3, maybe even 4 wide as well. We've got some very ambitious young drivers taking part in this competition. We're in for a cracker.
We absolutely are, and what a cracking service, what a cracking race we are going to be in. Watkins Glen is the track which effectively will feel like today the super speedway of road courses, because this is the sort of track where overtaking is going to be here aplenty, and you need to be in position at exactly the right time, and that is going to be what is so very crucial around racing today. But what are we racing for? A combined $500,000 prize pool is here for every individual race. The first place driver gets $1,000 worth of credit to the Skip Barber Racing School, and the hard charger, the driver who gains the most positions in the race, gets 1 day's worth of Skip Barber Racing School. On top of that, first place in the championship, second and third, they all get 5 days competition licensing and Skip Barber Racing School coaching. But the difference, first place gets a full season in the 2022 Skip Barber Formula Race Series, half a season for second place, and just the 1 race, so effectively a cameo for whoever finishes third overall in the championship. But incredible prizes, Peter, on the line, and we have seen so far this season just how much this championship means to the drivers involved.
I mean, it's an enormous opportunity. You look at the names that have come out the Skip Barber Racing School: AJ Allmendinger, Andy Lally, Danica Patrick, Joseph Newgarden, Juan Pablo Montoya, Marco Andretti, Ryan Hunter-Ray, and so many more. This opportunity for these young iRacers to get over into the outdoor world of racing is a magnificent opportunity.
And talk us around this place here, Peter. This is a really special circuit.
Oh, it is. It's old school in the best possible way. Watkins Glen, New York. It was a staple of the Formula One offering for many years in the United States, and actually it's quite close to my heart as well, because it was the place where the first ever Scotsman to win a Formula One Grand Prix, Innes, Ireland, picked up a win here in 1961. A while ago, but still a happy memory.
A happy memory, but it is one of these amazing tracks. It is 5.43 kilometers long, or 3.37 miles. It goes up, it goes down, it goes all around, and we're running the classic boot layout, which means no chicane here today. It is going to be a full foray in towards the carousel, and we're going to see that full ability to use the long straight in action here overall. Let's take a look though at where we've been to where we are. So Lime Rock and the Virginia International Raceway, the first 2 rounds of the championship. We're here today at Watkins Glen. Next week here, it's 4 straight weeks here in April to finish off the season. You've got the WeatherTech Raceway, Laguna Seca, Road America, and then finishing the championship off on one of the most beautiful circuits in Sebring. This is probably the key race to get right now here, Peter, because of the fact you've got Road America and you've got Sebring, which will feel rather similar.
Quite right, absolutely. And also, it's not guaranteed that you qualify into every week. So every single week, the pressure is on.
Absolutely. So right now here, we look at the championship standings. Now, what's crucial to note is a little penalty for Mikel Garda from race 3 of the championship. Cost him 3 seconds back. That was 1 place, and a 6-point swing between himself and Elvis Rankin means that Elvis Rankin now leads the championship by 3 points coming into today. And what a field we've got moving back to about 6th and 7th. Worth noting, Harley Horton not here today, did not qualify inside of the top 20, and Nicholas Matteo only qualifying 18th out of the top 20 here today, Peter. So Matteo may be off the pace, but this isn't necessarily the worst place in the world to be off the pace at, sorry.
Absolutely, you're right, Jake. With the nature of the circuit, the way that these cars work, they get a great slipstream, and there's long straights here at Watkins Glen where you can set up a move. And as you rightly mentioned, we're not using the bus stop chicane, and that opens up a fantastic overtaking opportunity into the outer loop. So it's more going to be smarts than outright pace that wins the day today.
Absolutely. We're driving the brand new iRacing Formula IR04 here today at what is an updated Watkins Glen. It can be a little bit more aggressive here, and if you haven't had the chance to already on the iRacing service, I'd jump in and get yourself the chance to race on this place. Fixed setup, 1 lap lone qualifying has just been completed, and we've got 2 races coming up, 15 minutes each, but the results of race 1 will set up for race number 2, and that can be a big maker or breaker in terms of how drivers look to sort themselves out here today. So this is going to be all about making sure you put your best foot forward and you can charge through the field. And this is the sort of field today where qualifying has actually looked rather difficult out there for a number of drivers as they've tried to get themselves sorted. It's Matt Buser, though, who gets himself the pole position, the almost unenviable task here today with a 1:35.846. He's got Mikel Garda just behind him there in second. Michael Janney and Matt Adams, great qualifying from him. He starts from 4th with Elvis Rankin, the championship leader, in 5th, and Ross Banfield up there in 6th position on the grid overall. Looking back down, you've got Jordan Johnson there in 7th with Simon De Mori in 8th place. Pier Francesco Patricolo starting this one in 9th, the Italian, with Jeffrey Decker rounding out the top 10. That then follows Patrick Woodstoff and Theodore Burns. The last driver to put a time in on the clock with a 46.8 was Felipe Cabrera Loyola. And all of these drivers back down here did not set a time in qualifying. They've got a lot of work to do, like some Michael Romanidis, Nicholas Matteo, who's well up there in the championship, John Bertefeur making his first start, Lyden Lee, Will Redford, who was the fastest driver in hot lapping over the course of today. He now finds himself, or over the week, I should say, he finds himself down in 18th, along with Deegan Fairclough, who took a magnificent win, round 4 of this championship, 12 races, 6 weeks, and Matthew Zeiss starting this one off in 20th position overall. All races have a rolling start to them, so we'll get 1 full pace lap to get ourselves sorted and situated with this place today. And Peter, you know, we talk about the most important run of this race is going to be coming out of the 90, up through the S's of 2, 3, and 4, and up that back stretch, because that draft is going to be crucial. You need to be within about a second, 1.2, to have that chance. And you can see track temperature today, 105 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot out there underfoot.
Yeah, that high track temperature is just going to make the track a little bit more on the greasy side, going to make that grip a little bit less. So the drivers will have to be very careful of that as well. You can see them wiggling back and forward quite vigorously here, trying to generate crucial tyre temperature and temperature in the brakes as well before getting going in this race.
It's just a little bird's eye view of just how much of a challenge this circuit is as you drop in through this famous carousel style corner. You need all of the grip of the tyres as you run through here, and effectively you're going to have to watch out as the second race comes through on the marbles on the outside that will generate from the tyres that go through. You can see here from a driver's eyes perspective of what it's like to be on a warm-up. You could be in this position, ladies and gentlemen, if you sign up to iRacing today. If it's your first time, you can get yourself 40% off of any brand new subscription. So head over to iRacing.com today for that, and make sure you sign up as well for this wonderful, wonderful series. You can head to skipbarber.com/iRacing series for a chance to jump on in. And yes, the championship has already gone on for a little bit, but there is a huge, huge opportunity if you haven't already. And that huge opportunity is if you set the most laps overall in terms of the time attacks to qualify for this series, then you can get yourself a one-day racing school courtesy of the Skip Barber Racing School. Sign up today, skipbarber.com/iRacing series. And what a beautiful lap this is as they go here, Peter, through what is the heel of the boot, which is probably the last great place to make a pass.
Yeah, we could see some last of the late breakers in there as we head into the closing stages of the race. As you say, that's the last proper opportunity. But as we know, these drivers, they're nothing short of ambition, that's for sure. And who knows where they might surprise us with some overtake manoeuvres.
There's 11 corners on this circuit. There are 11 places to make an overtake. And this might be huge. So Matt Buser, for the first time this season, will have control of the field as the pace car will take a dive right and into pit lane. Let's get ourselves underway then. 15 minutes on the clock. Green flag, and we are underway here from Watkins Glen, and a bit of shuffling in the middle of the field as they run down into the 90. Turn number 1 then for the first time. It's been a great start as drivers get through. Buser leads Jani already up into second. Garda and Rankin having to really fight out there for third position as they run up the hill through these S's for the first time. And watch how crucial it's going to be to sit in line and get what you want. A bit of 3 wide there just towards the rear of the field.
This is where the tactics come in. A huge bunch of drivers, all very close in pace. All 20 have qualified this week to get into this race, so they're all so close in lap time. But you've got to just give that little bit extra room, especially on these opening laps, until you've sized up your competitors, particularly going through the sweeping S-bends to start with. But no problem at all for Matt Buser. He started off this race very well indeed.
Absolutely, as they pilot through the chute, then you can see all 20 cars have made it through without any dramas. Now the toe of the boot as the track accelerates back up the hill, and you have to be aggressive. A bit of 2 wide back there in about 4th or 5th position. That's Mikael Garda having to really fight with Matt Adams out there. And you can see it's effectively like a super speedway. You've got 2 lines through pretty much every corner of this opening lap, and still you pretty much look back there to about 12th, 13th position. They're still fighting 2 wide, and that's going to be trouble out there on track. As you can see, 1 car off there into the barriers. Not ideal in the circumstances at all there for that driver there. Jeffrey Decker in the 13 in trouble as he finds himself now demoted to the back of the field.
Yeah, not a good start there for Jeffrey Decker as they come to complete lap 1, and it is very much like kind of super speedway style of racing. These cars don't have an enormous amount of power, but they've got really good aerodynamic grip, actually. It's kind of like a baby F3 car, if that makes sense. And yeah, there's definitely going to be where we're going to see different lanes appearing as we go around certain parts of the circuit. But at the moment, it's Matt Buser leaving with the green helmet, Michael Jani in second with the blue helmet, and then it's Elvis Rankin, championship leader, with the black helmet. He's there in third.
Absolutely, and now you're starting to see where it gets interesting. Side by side for the race lead, Michael Jani on the outside, going through at 232 clicks of the gun, moving through into that section. Buser really aggressive through the carousel, really moving up into the line, and we've almost got 3 wide into the chute. Elvis Rankin pretty much having it there, and Trouble's then sliding in the background, then 2 cars off. One of them is Jordan Johnson in trouble, and Simon Demori also getting caught out there in the back, but it's still on here for second position as Elvis Rankin having to really work with Matt Buser, trying to go around the outside to make the move happen, and just about manages it. Buser now finding out what it's like to be on the wrong side of the freight train.
Yeah, Matt Buser really paying the price there. He's gone from 1st to nearly 5th position now as well. But what a move from Michael Jani. He positioned his car absolutely perfectly, made sure he wasn't hung out to dry, and got the move done. So he leads this race with 11 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
Absolutely, he's got the lead, and Buser, for comparison, has dropped down to 5th position through all of that. So just shows you how aggressive they are trying to be in terms of gaining their spots and being in the right place at the right time. And this is a train that effectively stretches back to some side-by-side between Pierre Francesco Patricolo and Patrick Woods-Toth just behind this. So Ross Banfield in 6th, who's been the quiet driver. He could be someone here just behind Matt Buser. You can see the main focal point as we take the run up the hill here through the S's section. You can see this is going to be about making clean passes and making them quickly. The moment that you cannot get a move done effectively is here comes the move for the race lead. Elvis Rankin now trying to make a push, and maybe might be joined by Mikael Garda trying to find himself a way through. 3 wide, pushing to 4 as they go through. Contact between Garda and Rankin. The top 2 in the championship moving into the right. Oh, how on earth are they still pointing in the same direction? And crucially, 1 and 2 That is a massive, massive moment as they still fight for third all the way through the chute. Gianni really trying to get something going with Matt Adams.
Wow, that was very, very close there. Mikkel Gade trying to fit through a gap that was almost big enough, but a little clip of the wheel with Elvis Rankin, and luckily they get through clean because a trigger there would have caused a huge pile-up.
Absolutely, some great racing going on then as we take a little look then at what happened a little bit earlier on. So that's the 20, gets a tap going into the chute about a lap ago. Simon De Mori, who there on that 20, got a late call up to jump in, very much on the wrong side of it. He was desperately unlucky, but back to racing, and you cannot take your eyes off of the front of this field for a moment, because this is where amazing racing is happening right now with this wonderful, wonderful opportunity. And it shows right now how much drivers need to be working on their racecraft, where they need to be, right place, right time. It is about working around this circuit and understanding the keys of it. A little bit side by side there. We saw a bit in the background as that was Ross Banfield losing a position to Patrick Woods-Toth, making good progress. And the biggest mover in the field right now is Deegan Fairclough, who is up 10. He went from 15th to 1st in race number 4 of the championship. Here in race 5, he's up 10 after starting 19th.
And this is what the Skip Barber School in the outdoor world teaches, you know, not just going fast in a race car, but that racecraft as well, as they go 3 wide into the outer loop. And Adams hits the front now as well, with Elvis Rankin tucking in behind him in 2nd place. And Michael Gianni with the blue helmet there coming back to the fight after leading briefly. Matt Busa, interesting, Matt Busa there with the green helmet. He's just watching all this going on thinking, do you know what, well, this is the thing, isn't it? Matt Busa is a very accomplished super speedway racer in the NASCAR world. So I just wonder if he's maybe just watching all of this, Jake, and just seeing what's going on and planning his attack for when it matters, when the checker flag drops.
You say with that sort of experience, 10 years esports career plus for him is Mikel Garda, who you can see on board right now. He's got a stoic look about him, sees that battle for the lead between Matt Adams and Elvis Rankin. Adams, the off-camber turn number 9, he really struggles to get that turned in, but ultimately just about has the angle. He's got to be one of the drivers here. Does number 10, Matt Busa, with the most experience and with a really good opportunity. But as you say that, he just gets overtaken by Patrick Woods-Toth, diving down the inside, and that opens him up to Deegan Fairclough trying to make a move. Some drivers just want to be at the front of the train where it's easiest here at this stage as they dive into the 90 on their 5th revolution of this circuit, and how crucial it is, because this train, by the way, is going all the way back to 12th position. It's a huge battle out there on track.
Quite extraordinary, this train of cars, and it could well pack up to an almost 15-car train as well. We've got 5 seconds covering the top 15 at the moment as well. One continuous Shinkansen of iRacing Formula IR 04 machines as Gade hits the front briefly with 7 minutes to go as they head to the outer loop. 4 wide. This is, oh goodness me, they all fit through just about, and then it's down towards the chute as well. Tricky corner as well to get right. Easy to fight off more than you can chew through here.
It absolutely is, and for the lead, it is Mikel Garda just doing enough. Adams in 2nd, Rankin 3rd. Just behind that, you can see the battle between Patrick Woods-Toth and Deegan Fairclough trying to dive up the inside of the toe of the boot. We've seen so often as well here, Peter, how much of an organised chaos it has been into the carousel. 3 or 4 wide, one driver seems to back off, and they all seem to find their little place.
Yeah, they do, don't they, as well as no such problem for Matt Adams. He's decided as soon as he gets the opportunity, he's going to go for it and hit the front and assert his authority. And it's important at this stage as well to really show your rivals that you mean business as well, that you know that you will go for an opportunity as soon as it presents itself as well. So Matt Adams, despite a little wiggle there, he's got himself to the front of the pack with Mikel Gade right in behind. Then it's Rankin in 3rd and Michael Gianni in 4th. And just look at that train, absolutely bumper to bumper.
Absolutely, and Matt Adams is actually one of the 4 drivers in this field who's electing to have a dedicated spotter for him in this race, and that might be one of the most genius moves he's made all season long.
No question about it. If you've got a good spotter here, that is an enormous advantage to have. I mean, if you look into when we talk about super speedway racing, whether that be IndyCar or NASCAR, the spotter is a vital part of the team, and in this situation, absolutely critical as well. As we've got the roads blocked, they can't make their way through. It's absolutely sewn up.
It's incredible. You can see such runs from 4th and 5th. They're still 3 wide going through. Oh, this is fantastic racing. And they're all going to spill out. We're 4 wide going to the chute. This is going to end in tears. It does. And one goes off into the wall. So dramas immediately as they go through. Who was that in trouble? There's 2 more, actually. Oh, a huge accident there in the back. So Will Redford's been involved in it. Lyden Lee's been caught up as well. And it looks like Matt Busa, of all people, has been involved in quote-unquote the big one.
Oh, and I'm sure Matt Busa's had that pain in his career a number of times, being caught up in the big one. So our pole setter, Matt Busa, dropping down the order as well. So the leading train now, well, it's just 10, covered by 3.8 seconds. But it's Matt Adams trying to hold on to the lead, but Deegan Fairclough trying to make his way through, but nothing yet as well. 4.5 minutes to go. Oh, it's going to be tight. I think we're just going to be 3 laps to go, I think. Yes.
It is going to be close.
Oh.
And get this, Deegan Fairclough is proving again that qualifying doesn't mean too much to him, because he started 19th on the grid. He is now fighting for the race lead with the likes of Garda, Matteo there in 4th position, Woods Toff in 5th. Rankin, through all of this, has been demoted back into 6th place, and he desperately would love the points here today, especially when he's got the number 3, as we've got a bit of side-by-sides. They go up. Oh, they almost interlock wheels there as they go through. You can see now Deegan Fairclough needs some help, needs actually a push, and on the outside, trying to sneak on through, Nicholas Matteo with an almighty run.
Goodness me, yeah, we're seeing bump drafting here with single-seater racing cars. That is really on the edge of what you want to do. Is look at Matteo around the outside. You spotted the run there, Jake, and Adams throws a big block saying, no, let's just halt that run before you get too excited, my friend. Fairclough getting hung out to dry now on the outside line there in the number 7. He drops back to 3rd, so it's now Adams from Matteo. Say it quickly because it's going to change.
Wow, so a lot going on. Let's take a look at what happened last lap, though, and what has got this group so close. So this is how quickly it can go wrong here. Matt Busa just gets put up onto 2 wheels. They were 4 wide going in through the corner, and then a secondary bit of contact, a heavy hit going through, and that's how quickly a race like this can change. Look at them swapping and turning. Every time you go around, you cannot breathe in a pack like this. The moment that you think that you're stationary in this one right now here, Peter, you are sinking.
Wow, yeah, you've got to be moving forward all the time if you can. I mean, look at Deegan Fairclough. He's put himself in a super position for our Hard Charger Award, which, of course, the prize for that is a day's racing school at the Skip Barber Racing School. So starting at the back of the pack and fighting for the win here, he's in a really good position to pick up that award.
And if you love racing like this, and this is amazing action here, as there's almost contact, sign up to iRacing today. You can get 40% off of your first subscription if you can jump on in. So make sure you do that, because this has been absolutely magnificent racing. This might be the greatest sim race I've seen in a very long time. And at the moment, Matt Adams has been trying to play rough shot from the front of the field. Matteo now getting a bit of help from Deegan Fairclough to try and push his way forward into that carousel, sweeping around the outside. He moves into the race lead, and look at how it looks up behind. Woods Toff in 4th, Garda in 5th, Rankin in 6th position, Michael Janney there in 7th, but straight back to the inside. Matt Adams goes at the chute, and that puts him up then into the race lead, but it's still too wide. Matteo's still not wanting to give this one up.
And I have to say, superb racecraft from a lot of the drivers, and really fair racing as well. They're giving each other just enough room and allowing us some fantastic entertainment as well. And Matt Adams gets a little bit of breathing space at the front of the field for now, but we'll be heading on to the last lap in just a moment. And will that be when the grenade finally goes off?
Well, Deegan Fairclough there moving up into 2nd. They were 3 wide out of the exit of the toe of the boot, and it's about shuffling back into line. Garda has a chance against Patrick Woods-Toth trying to find the position, but he can't get there, and everyone wants to be either 3rd or 4th in the line. This last lap coming up here, Peter, question comes, which position is the best for the run up to the carousel?
Oh, I tell you what, I'm glad I'm sitting in this chair because I don't know. I've no idea. I'm sure the drivers have got a good impression of what they want to do here, as well as Matt Adams takes the white flag last lap here in race 1 at Watkins Glen. Skip Barber got on the podium here himself back in the 1960s in Can-Am. Who's going to be on the podium this time?
All of these drivers are crossing their fingers, crossing their toes, and crossing everything. Here comes Deegan Fairclough side by side as he looks to get past Matt Adams for the race lead here in race 5 of 12 of the championship. Here comes Matteo. He goes to the outside, almost 2 tires in the grass. And there goes Patrick Woods-Toth through the middle, 4 wide, fighting for the race lead. Woods-Toth has himself the inside line as they go through. Little contact there in 3rd position, but they sort out nicely. Matteo trying to find an angle as they look through. They're pretty much throwing a blanket over all of them. Woods-Toth goes around. Contact going through. That shuffles a lot of drivers out of position, including in all of that the championship leader in Elvis Rankin. Still on for the race leads. They go through. Matteo almost getting pushed around, and then Garda into the back then of one Mr. Deegan Fairclough. This is all on for 2nd, and all of this has allowed Nicholas Matteo the chance to escape, the chance to get some room in what is an incredibly tight and congested and what has been an anxiety-riddled race as they go up through turn number 9. Fairclough holding on to 2nd position, Garda in 3rd, Janney in 4th position, and at the moment it is going to be Nicholas Matteo, who's had to be patient here in this one. Started 15th on the grid, qualified through the hot lap time trials in 18th, but he's got his season pretty much there. He will take victory race 1 of Watkins Glen.
Wow, brilliant stuff there from Nicholas Matteo. Just bided his time and made his attack in the latter stages of the race. But Matt Adams, he'll be kicking himself, and well, he might have a few rivals who want to kick him after that, well, pile up there at the chute, but almost an air of inevitability in such a fierce battle. Wow.
Absolutely. I think Deegan Fairclough has said it absolutely best. He's just said that was scary as he was going out and racing. So let's get confirmation of result then. Nicholas Matteo will pick up the victory in 16 minutes and 4 seconds. He'll win by 7/10 come the end of the race over Deegan Fairclough in 2nd. The hard charger 19th up to 2nd. Both the top 2 started outside of the top 10 here today. Mikel Garda finishes off in 3rd, but crucially finishes. That's the key word there today for him, with Michael Janney in 4th and Ross Banfield rounding out the top 5. Pier Francesco Patricolo will take 6th position with Matt Adams in 7th and Jeffrey Decker in 8th. It will be a 9th place finish for Michael Romanidis, and then effectively from that point onwards, every other driver in this field is either laps down or out of the race, and that is Patrick Woods-Toth, who will be classified in 10th, ahead of Elvis Rankin in 11th. He will still get points for that 11th place finish, but not as many as he would have liked here today. Theodore Burns, 2 laps down, does finish. Will Redford, Matt Busa out of the race. So too Leiden Lee and Matthew Zeiss. They all got caught up at the chute. Jordan Johnson and John Bertifer all got caught up earlier on, as well as Simon De Mori and Felipe Cabrera Loyola out of the race in the number 4 car, 20th position overall. But Peter, that was pretty much mind-breaking in terms of a race. You cannot ask for better racing than this that you have got going on today at Watkins Glen. And the best bit is we got one more of these.
Oh, I can't wait. It's fantastic stuff. The drivers, on the most part there, were really giving each other fair room. We were seeing tactical racing, and yeah, it was Nicholas Matteo just planned his attack perfectly. He was almost stealthy, wasn't he? He wasn't really appearing on the teleprompter, if you like, and then all of a sudden, he's at the front, and then he cuts his way through. I think, Matt Adams he'll be kicking himself, I'm sure, after that one. And the way that this format works, if you make a mistake or are taking it away in somebody else's mistake in race 1, you've got to fight back in race 2. It's not just like that's it, done and dusted, back to normal. You really pay for your race 1 mistake, and we're going to see some big names coming through the pack here as well. So if you thought race 1 was good, race 2 is bound to be just as good.
It absolutely is, and it'll be coming up in a few moments, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to step aside here with action here today. We'll be back with more after this.
It doesn't matter where you're from, who you grew up rooting for, what you grew up watching, your home track, your favorite car, the series you've always wanted to race in. When you're ready to know what it's like, we're here, bringing you as close to the action as it gets with the ultimate sim racing experience. With a community of hundreds of thousands just like you. This is iRacing, and here, every day is race day.
If every day is race day, then this is the race day of race days that we are watching, ladies and gentlemen. This has been simply sensational so far here in the Skip Barber Formula iRacing series. And we've got one more 15-minute race, which absolutely promises to have all the thrills and all the spills with it. There's some amazing action going on, and the best bit about it is you can jump in and have that opportunity too. You can qualify to be one of the 20 fastest drivers and put yourself in the same position as the likes of Mikel Garda, Nicholas Matteo, Deegan Fairclough, Elvis Rankin. And if you set the most laps in qualifiers overall, in those hot lap qualifiers, you get a chance, or you get the opportunity, I should say, to win a one-day racing school courtesy of the Skip Barber Racing School. Sign up today at skipbarber.com/iRacing series. Peter, you know, we look at that first race and it's about positioning. Where do you need to be come the final lap of the race? But there are two philosophies that go through. Do you stay at the back where it's going to be easy and potentially accidents can happen in front of you? Or do you stay at the front where you're going to be vulnerable late on in the race, but you have the control of where everyone else goes around you?
Well, we saw both attempts there, and certainly by the evidence that we saw in race one, Nicholas Matteo got it right by hanging back early. Race two, will that be the case? I don't know. There's some bigger names that come through from deep in the pack, so we'll see. It is so tactical as well. That's what makes it so fascinating. Like I say, I'm glad I'm in this chair.
Absolutely. I'm glad I'm in this chair as well. And this has been simply sensational so far, and it only promises to do even more. Now, the big key is that those drivers who moved their way to the front now have that opportunity to start from the front here in race number 2. So Nicholas Matteo will take the pole position for this one with Deegan Fairclough alongside with him for the ride. Mikel Garda will go from 3rd position with Michael Janney in 4th. Ross Banfield starts in 5th along with Pier Francesco Patricolo in 6th position. Matt Adams will be back there in 7th. He was unlucky on the final lap of that opening race, but still has a really good position to work from, with Jeffrey Decker, who will be jumping up into the 8th position here in this one with Michael Romanidis. He will start from position number 9, will the Czech driver, and Patrick Woods-Toth, who was so aggressive, moved himself up almost into the lead. He will go from 10th position. Elvis Rankin really needs a good result here from this second race. He goes from 11th with Theodore Burns in 12th. 13th is Will Redford. He's just praying he finds the end of a race, is what he was saying in the middle of things going forward, with Matt Busa in 14th. He was the fastest, Will Redford was, in the hot laps and qualification, hence number 1. Lyden Lee and Matthew Zeiss, they have row 8. Row 9 will hold Jordan Johnson and John Bertefeur out there on track, and that follows the final 2 drivers, Simon De Mori and Felipe Cabrera Loyola, making the 20 drivers here today on that all-important second race, as we go through with one pace lap before we take ourselves to the green flag and 15 more minutes. Peter, I think now is probably the calmest time they'll have between now and the next 15 minutes.
Yeah, this is a good opportunity just to get themselves back into the zone, get themselves back in to that area of concentration as well. They know what their individual goals are, and yeah, just a nice long pace lap. I mean, at full speed, it's a minute and 45 seconds. So behind the pace car, there's plenty of time to get yourself ready to go. And this is where, yeah, just keeping the nerves under control. This is where the drivers who are on top of their mental game are gonna come out on top, because there's almost a little bit too much thinking time here. 8
finishers only on the leading lap in that initial race, as ladies and gentlemen, we've got so much amazing racing here, and we have seen how this wonderful racing series, this Skip Barber Formula iRacing series, has been incredible. For more information on how to get in on the schedule, for example, to become a member, you can log on to skipbarber.com/iRacing series for that. But 8 finishers only on the leading lap in race number 1. And how much of that would you say here is down to the fact that this track has a street circuit feel, that all of the Armco and Tech Pro barriers around this circuit are very, very close to the racing surface?
I think that's a huge aspect. I mean, the thing about Watkins Glen, and I think this is why so many drivers absolutely love it, is it is so high speed, so many high speed corners. And, you know, these little Formula IRO 4 machines, they might only have 160 horsepower, but they're super light. They're about 500 kilograms and lots of aerodynamic grip as well. And you speak to drivers, it is a track that all of the drivers really look forward to going to compete. And you look at the names that have won here over the past. I mean, Scott Dixon's won here many times. Jim Clark, João Barbosa, Jeff Gordon, so across all different styles of racing, it is a proper driver circuit. But what that does, the trade-off of that, as you rightly say, Jake, if you get it wrong, you're going to know about it.
Certainly are, and these drivers, they were pushing to the absolute limits as they go through, as the track temperature has dropped a little bit down to 99 degrees Fahrenheit, so 6 degrees of track temperature drop as they've gone from the first race to the second. So how much will that play a factor in the speeds today, rising up as they drive behind the iRacing safety car here through turn number 10, which will lead to that very difficult turn 11. You have to be on the limit through there because there is no runoff on the exit of the final corner. And Nicholas Matteo in the number 18 machine has himself the control of the field. When the pace car dives in, he will have his choice to go, or when the green flag does, and he waits as late as he possibly can. Green flag in the air. We're underway here from Watkins Glen, and immediately to the outside, it's 3 wide as Michael Janney looks to try and push on that outside line, trying to find a way through into the 90s. They all fan in. Contact already. Ross Banfield goes around. Patricolo gets caught up in it, and one more driver is in trouble there. Will Redford, he has absolutely no luck in this series.
Oh, what a shame for Will Redford. I mean, it just wrong place, wrong time yet again as the Banfield gets back going again and hopefully be able to catch the back of the train and resume his race. But Nicholas Matteo leads confidently from the front with Mikel Gadi right in behind as Deegan Fairclough jinks to the inside to have a look into the outer loop.
Absolutely. Front 4 have gotten away early after that incident, and Gada can't quite make it happen on the outside. Deegan Fairclough holds the position then here in second as he covers the inside in through the chute. You could just see there all of the cars making their way through that carousel. Just incredible as they went on through. And this is going to be the key to how they want this race to go in race number 2 here, Peter. 4 away at the front. The last thing they want is Jeffrey Decker moving up to 5th position and closing that gap down. They want this to be as simple an equation as possible. 4 is a lot easier than 14 to fight against.
100%, yeah. I mean, for Nicholas Matteo, but more importantly, Deegan Fairclough, Mikel Gadi, and Michael Yanni, they've got to be super smart here and just get in a train. Do not slow one another up and try and break away. But already Jeffrey Decker in the number 13 car with the yellow helmet, he knows that, and he's pushing very hard to not lose the back of this train, and we might see them forming up together quite soon. But any form of big move in this front group and they will be straight back into the train again.
Well, the gap is 0.8 of a second between 4th and 5th as they cross the line. He's in range, and that's not what the front 4 were hoping for. Matteo leads, Fairclough second, Garda in 3rd position, Michael Janney finds himself in 4th place. As things stand, Garda leads the championship after that result, so he knows he's just got to consolidate some more points as he now starts to charge, and they sit behind Nicholas Matteo, and look at them. None of them want to make a move to put themselves in the race lead. They are going to sit behind and wait for the right time to strike, and the more that they do that in this race here, Peter, the more they will allow that group behind to reach.
Well, that's interesting stuff as well. There was no fanning out, trying to make a move there. They were all staying in line astern, almost bump drafting one another, trying to maximize the speed and not fall back into the clutches of the next group, led by Jeffrey Decker. They're just at the back of shot with the yellow helmet and yellow rear wing end plates as well. They're trying their best. Nicholas Matteo is pushing as hard as he possibly can, but can Decker run it round? The gap is staying pretty steady. It's about 0.6 of a second from Gianni in fourth to Decker in fifth. So at the moment, they're doing what they need to do to stay out the front.
Yeah, there's a look at Deegan Fairclough right now, racing just outside of Gatwick Airport in the United Kingdom as he tries to push forward there through turn 9, that off-camber corner. You could see Matteo's rear tyres just trying to step out a little bit as he dances through turn number 10 and in towards that final sweeping corner of turn 11, where you have to be as early on the power as possible without running into that wall on the outside. And all of a sudden, you got to be very, very much on point at this circuit. You've got to make sure you're making moves and making them at the right time. There's your leading four, but who's just moved up into fifth just behind? That's Elvis Rankin, who is absolutely motoring through this field.
Quite incredible drive there from Elvis Rankin. He's such an impressive young driver, and yeah, up into fifth position. Now the gap is about 1.1 seconds, so Elvis Rankin does have work to do, but my goodness me, has he done well to get to the front of the second group so early on, starting from 11th on the grid. He's already up to 5th. Quite incredible, as well the discipline is gone out the front.
Fairclough's off on the outside, so there's been drama at the front of the field. There's the front three that's gone through, and there's no Deegan Fairclough who's gone through. So Deegan Fairclough is out of the race, and it was contact between himself and Mikel Garda. We go from a driver's eyes perspective then of the front group then. This is going to be a third position of Michael Gianni making the rise, but big drama then as they've gone through. Fairclough's out.
Goodness me. Well, Nicholas Matteo has given another bit of comfort like he did on the last lap of race 1. He's just been given that little bit of breathing space here. Now, can he use it? Can he break away from Mikel Garda and Michael Gianni? Possibly, but just giving a little bit of comfort. But Deegan Fairclough, he was sitting in a perfect position in second place, and we saw with the onboard from Deegan Fairclough just how strong the slipstream effect actually is. And his race is done. That car absolutely destroyed.
Let's have a look then and see exactly how that came about. You could see he was trying to work on that outside, move through, and as he turns in for the corner, 2 into 1 just doesn't go there at that point, and you can see it's a heavy accident there into the tyres, and you can see both of the right side tyres effectively falling off the car as he found himself buried in the tyres.
Oh dear, dear. Yes, left the door almost too open and then tried to go back into a position, and when he came back it was already occupied. So
look at
shame
this
there for Deegan Fairclough as we got this is like the M25 motorway. You mentioned Gatwick Airport. This is the morning rush hour going on here.
They were 2 wide and almost 4 deep as they go through. 3 wide into the carousel. Matt Boos is in this one. So too Michael Romanidis trying to find himself a way through. Jeffrey Decker's in the middle of all of this. I'm sure he doesn't want this to be a triple decker sandwich as he goes through in towards that very important chute. And they're still going to be checking each other up. Look at how much they're fighting right now. They are costing each other vital points. The top 6 are effectively given free license here to run away in this race and go have their own fight. This fight for 7th is mega.
And what can you say about young Elvis Rankin as well? He has been able to not only make his way through this group, but escape from it and get tagged onto the lead group. Incredible driving from the young American. He's about 0.4 of a second off Michael Gianni in third, so very much in that leading breakaway group now as well, from 11th on the grid. Quite incredible, and really bouncing back after the unfortunate end to race 1.
He certainly is having a good race, and this fight for 7th continues on, and it goes all the way back to 17th with Matthew Zeiss. Here's Elvis Rankin, though, in 4th position, calm as anything, a little smile as he goes in towards the 90 here, just around halfway here in this race, and he knows as he talks her out there on what he wants to do, that he's just wanting to be patient, doesn't want to push the issue too much at this point. Mikel Garda leading this race outright. Your biggest mover and shaker in the field, your hard charger right now here, Peter, is Leiden Lee. He's in 6th position. He's gone and made a gain of 9 so far in this race.
Brilliant stuff there from Leiden Lee. Again, we just caught a glimpse of just how strong that slipstream effect is. Seeing Elvis Rankin trying to position himself, goes for a big dive up the inside there into the outer loop. Can he get it done before the run to the chute gives room to Michael Jani? But Elvis Rankin up to 3rd there, as well as Nicholas Matteo defending from Michael Gary. Super stuff at the front there.
Absolutely, and that's the move done. So Matteo back up into the race lead. Garda in 2nd, Rankin 3rd, Jani in 4th, Adams is 5th, and Lee in 6th position overall as they run towards the heel of the boot. Such an underrated overtaking opportunity is that heel of the boot, and you're going to see quite a bit as drivers push through this section of track. You can see they're using all of the road available to them because they know at this point in time in a race like this, they have to use every single tool available to them to maintain or try and attack for position.
Absolutely, and that's where the practice comes in as well. If you do enough mileage on these circuits, you really need to know where you can get away with things and where you don't. And if you don't look out for those advantages, you will not be able to compete. And these drivers put in so much preparation for these races, knowing exactly how to maximize the performances. Michael Gary fans out and makes a move into 90, and look at that. Nicholas Matteo said, oh, okay, after you, I shall tuck right in behind you and get a lovely draft going up the hill. So interesting stuff there from Michael Gady.
You could say at that point from Nicholas Matteo, if he gets the run he wants up this hill, then he is taking a shade out of Charles Leclerc's book. There's Mikel Garda, who's there on the inside having to defend, but all of a sudden we're going to start crossing the beams behind, and all of a sudden Matt Adams is getting himself involved, trying to run on the outside with a mega run up, and he'll jump 2 spots up onto the podium places in 3rd position with that one. So Matteo leads, Garda 2nd, and now it's Matt Adams who finds himself in 3rd, getting the move done, and now diving down the inside for 2nd. He is not wasting any time. They do not pay Matt Adams by the hour.
Goodness, and look at just in the blink of an eye, that leading 4-car group is turned into a 6-car group because Leiden Lee has come in for the fun there as well. And the number 14, well, that's the Alonso number, isn't it, this week, with the yellow helmet and halo there as well. But still, Nicholas Matteo, he might be from Spain, Jake, but goodness me, he is the Iceman. He is just not cracking under this pressure.
No, he's been given a bit of respite, actually, with the way that Matt Adams has been trying to fight for that 2nd position with Mikel Garda in the number 3 as they fight side by side behind there in the back of shot for 7th position out there overall. So some great racing going on up and down your field. But as far as the front 6 are concerned, Matteo's trying to build a gap, and here with 4 minutes, 18 seconds as they cross the start-finish line, they know that if they sit about and wait, there's going to be that gap going away. There is Matt Busa trying to go down the inside of Jordan Johnson here for position. Great battling. Got Simon Demori there, Michael Romanidis there, Botafour is in there, Woods Toth, you got Cabrera Loyola. They're all there. They all want places right now, and they're queuing up 2 by 2 as if they're about to walk into Noah's Ark.
Well, it's certainly high speed Noah's Ark, that is for sure, as Matt Busa holding the inside line as much as he can there as well. But all the cars on his outside have got super runs, and Busa's about to get swamped here into the outer loop.
Oh, no.
And there, whoa!
Patrick Woods topped then off, and another driver turned around. That's Jordan Johnson who's gone around, and that was inevitable the way they were fanning out.
And Matt Busa did a super job there to avoid the contact as well, ducking and diving to try and not get collected by the other cars.
It's incredible, and that's just how quickly racing like this can put itself in a little bit of trouble. And at this point in time, you've got all these drivers trying to work with what they've got. Top 6 still working hard. The battle for 7th position still there in the mix. So everything still to play for at the moment. We've got a bit of side-by-side for 4th and 5th position right now as Leiden Lee and Elvis Rankin is trying to find position. All of a sudden, Michael Jani's trying to find himself a way around the outside of 10. Not the easiest place there, Peter, to make it happen, but they were just able to hold the line for the moment, as they know they do not have long left in this race.
Nicholas Matteo at the front of the field, he's kind of, he's signed up to be the front runner, and he's playing that. He's weaving around on the straight to try and break that draft as well, trying to make a breakaway. He's got a 0.4 of a second advantage, leaving the 90. How much will he have in, if any, going up towards the outer loop? It's Mikel Gadi, the championship contender, who's right on his gearbox now as well. And that 0.4 of a second advantage, well, it's gone by the time they even get onto the straightaway.
Yep, side by side they go as they fight for the race lead, and now they're going to start fighting incredibly hard for it. Gap threaded through by Matt Adams. He shut the door on Elvis Rankin, who was also trying to shoot for the same gap. Matt Adams has been a little bit more patient in terms of the way he's had to work, but he goes through. He runs a little wide, though, so Matteo and Garda both want to work on the outside line. Matteo really trying to get that car sorted and slid in to try and attack, but Garda falls back into line in second, and a bit of contact just behind as well. So brilliant actions coming through, but this is the accident that happened earlier on here, which went through. So this is just how easily that second group came together, and it was the two there of Woodstoff and also there in that situation Jordan Johnson coming together, and that's how quickly a race can go from hero to zero, and it might happen with 1 lap left to go when they cross the line, Peter.
I still can't, I could watch that replay 100 times. I still can't fathom how Matt Boozer got through without a mark on his car. Incredible. It had a car broadside right in front of the nose and didn't panic, just jinked to the left, jinked to the right, and made his way through. But that would have been a heart starter, that's for sure. On to the last lap we go. Matt Adams has the lead for now. Will he have it when we get round in a couple of miles' time?
I wonder if he'll hit the brakes and let through Mikel Garda and try and let someone take the lead. Coming up this section of road, he'll have to be on the front, and they will all be positioning themselves for that run. Rankin trying to move up the inside then and put out of position Nicholas Matteo as he tries to sneak through on the outside of 3. It's so easy to hit the wall if you're not careful, and they're starting to trip up over each other here. Who's got the run that they need? Watch out from 5th position. Lyden Lee might try and thread the needle and go through all of them. They're all pushing against each other here because they know they don't have an angle. It's well covered here by Matt Adams. They run into the carousel. Garda's out of position. Matteo and Lyden Lee go off, and their race is all but done in the fight for the victory. And once again, it's a fight of 4 as they go to the chute.
Oh dear, there's always going to be winners and losers in that situation, and oh dear, what a pity there for the drivers that went off as well. Matteo, we won't have a repeat victory here in race 2. Adams still got the hold on it as well, but Elvis Rankin from 11th on the grid, don't forget. He's got an opportunity to throw a move here on the last lap.
Certainly does. Matt Adams desperately trying to break the toe as they go into the heel of the boot then. That's the last great place to make a move, but if you've got a run coming out here of turn number 9, this off-camber corner, you've really got a chance. Rankin in second, Garda in third, Jani is in 4th position, and as they run, Matt Adams just needs 2 good corners here around this track. Turn 10 and turn 11, and he's really had to work for this one. He has shown he was the most aggressive all day long. He's wanted this one so badly. Matt Adams will come to the line, and he will take this second race in what was another brilliant showcase of great close quarters combat.
Amazing stuff, and yet again a driver who just stealthed his way up through the pack, didn't hit the front too early, wins the race. Well done, Matt Adams. Super racecraft there, and well done, Elvis Rankin. 11th to 2nd.
11th to 2nd. It just shows you how very difficult this race is. Confirmation of result. Matt Adams, 15 minutes, 59 seconds. So they were even quicker in that second race. He picks it up. He gets it done by 0.2 of a second over Elvis Rankin. A great recovery from him, up 9 spots to reach that second position, with Mikel Garda picking up 3rd position just behind. Michael Jani will finish 4th, and the hard charge of the race was Lyden Lee. He gained 10 places from 15th up to 5th position in that one, despite contact on the final lap with Nicholas Matteo. He still finishes 6th. He's able to finish just ahead, though, of Michael Romanidis in 7th position, with Pier Francesco Patricolo in 8th and Theodore Burns in 9th position. John Boertefeur rounding out then the top 10 on what was a very hard-fought mid-pack scrap in that race number 2. Simon de Mori finishes off in 11th position with Felipe Cabrera Loyola in 12th, and Matt Busa shuffled back to 13th come the end of the race. Matthew Zeiss then would take 14th ahead of Jordan Johnson in 15th, who had the broadside moment. Then following that, you had Jeffrey Decker and Patrick Woods-Toth, who also had a spin here today. Ross Banfield down in terms of pace. He had a spin on lap 1, and the 2 retirees being Deegan Fairclough and Will Redford, who seemingly cannot get any luck when it comes to racing overall. But Peter, you've got yourself down the virtual pit lane and you've found yourself with Matt Adams.
Matt, congratulations on an absolutely super drive there. Tell us about your approach to that race.
A lot more strategy than talent. I feel really bad about causing that wreck in the first race, but glad I could make up for it in race 2 and get that win.
Tell us about the preparation for these races as well, because we're on a fixed setup, 19 other very fast drivers. How do you get that edge? What do you work on to get your performance where it needs to be during the week leading up to the races?
Honestly, at this track, I didn't do much preparation, just knowing how it would play out with the draft. I did about 45 minutes before the race went live today, and that's like, once you're used to being in the dirty air and all that, it's really going to be more strategy than talent at a track like this, I think.
Oh, Matt, there's a lot of people groaning in the background. Wish you were practicing so much and you're doing it on instinct alone. Fantastic. I mean, looking towards the rest of the championship, what are your goals that you want to achieve by the end of the season?
Well, number 1 was to win a race. Pretty happy about that. Now I guess the goal is top 5 to get that 5-day racing school. I'm going to miss next week going to do some work at a track in Shannonville. But yeah, hopefully I can get top 5 by the end.
Well, we wish you all the best with that. Matt, thank you very much for coming to join us, and congratulations on a super victory here at Watkins Glen. Well done.
Thank you. I want to thank Apex V2R and Lionel 1059 for supporting me.
Well, there you have it. Matt Adams with what was a very, very strong drive through the field. 7th up to 1st, but still really had to work. Here's where we're going to be. Same time, same place, but 1 week on from today, April 10th, 3 p.m. Eastern. Mark it down in your calendar. It's the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca, which kicks off the second half of the season. And Peter, what a track this is. All iRacers should know this one like the back of their hands, because this is part of the free content that you get when you join the iRacing service.
Yeah, it's an absolute classic circuit. It's one that we all know so well. I mean, if you're a MotoGP fan, it's certainly been on that calendar for, well, not anymore, but it was for many, many years. Brilliant undulation, a proper driver's circuit, and will give us a completely different race altogether than what we've just seen tonight at Watkins Glen. And isn't that what this series is about? It's about finding the most complete driver and giving them an opportunity to get on the racing ladder.
And you make a very good point here, Peter, because this is the sort of racing that we've seen today at Watkins Glen, where you need an amazing racing intellect to go out and get the best possible results here today. Now, how do you take these sorts of results, the drivers who are able to find themselves with a finish in both races, how do they take that as a huge boon of confidence heading over to Laguna Seca?
Well, I think they can. I mean, wins always help, and good results always help to get your shoulders up and really make you work hard the next week. But as I say, it's going to be a completely different challenge. Laguna Seca is not necessarily a big overtaking track. It's all about being technically good, and it's about maximizing each and every lap. So I think this time is interesting what Matt Adams saying there, since didn't practice much. He just knew it would be an instinct race and a tactical race, and the most clever driver would win. Laguna Seca won't be like that, I don't believe. I think it will be those who really put the work in over the next 7 days.
I certainly agree with you, and I cannot wait to jump over 7 days from today to put ourselves at the WeatherTech Raceway Laguna Seca. This has been a crazy, crazy afternoon's worth of racing, and this might just be the greatest 2 races that I think of sim racing I have seen throughout my 7 years of calling great action. There's so much more on the horizon. Please, next week, jump in, give yourself the time and the space to put yourself in that position, because this is where great racing comes to life. And this is such an amazing championship fight.